Yeah, so that's the thing. You never know how much you're going to get as a final analysis. Excuse me, as these go through these negotiations. I know that the House and Senate are both a little bit off. I think after the rally in Richmond, it was very successful. I think basically the General Assembly is going to try and do what they can to provide a 5% pay raise. But of course, that's just the state share of that. And so, in terms of the CEA, we would hope that y'all would seek funding both locally and state to give a 5% pay raise to teachers. Keeping our steps that we got last year, and also to help pay for summer classes, and also to increase the number of personal days to 5 and be able to carry over 3 of those to the next year. But the big push is the 5%. So any questions you have for me?
No, and we can say we are working towards that goal. Again, our hands are really tied with both the city and the state without funding to know, and the 5% plan could even change from the state. Mm-hmm. So at this point, we can say that we're all working towards that.
I realize it's got to be a bit more than what you say for the 5%, because local, they have to pay approximately half of that. The state will pay approximately half, give it somewhere around there. And that's just for the standards of quality positions, and local will have to pick it up for all the other folks that would only be fair, ones that aren't specifically enumerated to be standards of quality. Although I understand the state is going to increase the number of, or increase the funding, and they've changed the SOQs for guidance counselors. So at least that's something that wasn't there before. So hopefully with all that and seeking funding from the city, we can provide that for the teachers. So
I would just like to hope the state would change their procedures on doing that sometime instead of that 5% match. They get all the glory of saying they're giving everybody all the teachers raises. They don't even give all of our teachers raises, and then we have to match and pay the remaining of them. It's incredible. And some school systems in the past, I know, have been forced to turn down a lot of money because they couldn't afford to match.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So it's pretty awful the way they do it, and it looks good in the media that they are giving 5% raises to all the teachers, but the fine print's usually left out.
Well, it's interesting that they come up with some formula for what positions are needed to carry out the quality education in Virginia. Right. And what they think in terms of what you need for staffing is never what any position, what any system could provide, given the little bit of positions that they offer. Yeah, and so
you figure there aren't many people out of the school systems making those laws, right?
Yeah, that's true. They have some equations that they think they've met them, but in reality they don't. But if you say you need to fully fund SOQs, they get really upset about that because they say we fully fund the SOQs.
Right. Something, and I would like to say too in the budget, and you can certainly think back to those, we are working towards the addition of some necessary teachers and guidance as well, some positions. We've got a big package of things we're looking at, so we're trying to get to that point, the very, very needed positions that we can do something with as well. So we're working on a lot of things. Again, all we can do is put a plan in place and hope that funding comes together at some point. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Do you have anything else?
That's all.
Okay, thank you very much.
Question?
Sure, okay, go ahead.
This 5 personal days with carryover from year to year, do you know of any school systems that already do that?
Well, we do. We provide personal days, and we do carry over.
But I mean, 5 is usually, that's more than 2 is what I'm familiar with.
We allow every employee 5 personal days, and they can carry over 2. So it's possible to start out with 5. So what is your request?
Carry over 3.
Carry over 3 and start out with 6 then?
Well, yes. I think the board had actually, or the people actually had said, to increase the personal number of days to 5. But we already offer 5, but we want to be able to carry over.
We offer 3 with potential to carry over. If you have them, right. If you have at least 2 from the previous year, you can carry over 2 and start out with 5. If you have them left over from last year.
Exactly.
If you don't, then you start with 3 or 1 or.
Right.
Right.
whatever.
That's the way it is.
So I'm
familiar.
confused, still confused about what
But
the
we have-
request is.
Yeah, so the request is for 5, and to be able to carry over 3. So going back a year, if you haven't used them, then you would have 8.
You could start with that.
Carrying over two.
You're going to carry over all 5 personal days.
Yeah, right. Plus, right, carry over all 5.
Plus get 3 new
Plus
ones,
get
so
3
you could
more.
potentially start out with 8.
Exactly.
Carry over what you earned.
Yeah,
We only earned 3.
yeah.
But if you had to, you carried over previously,
True.
you
Yeah.
could carry those over as well.
Yeah, so instead of not carrying over 2, carrying over 3, it'd be an extra 1. Yeah, so it'd be 8 total if you haven't used that.
I'm tracking.
Okay.
I've got it now, I just didn't
I
get it
don't.
before.
Okay,
Well,
so you just said 5 personal days with a carryover of 3, but right now you have 3 days and you can carry over 2, correct?
Right now, all employees get 3 personal days.
Right, you have 3,
And they can carry over 2
2.
if they had them from the
Okay.
previous year.
and now you're saying,
So the request is to start with 5.
and then be able to
be able to
carry
carry
over
over
3.
3.
Okay, that's what I wrote down.
No,
That's what he said.
you're saying get 5 every year and then carry over 3, or start with 3 and then carry over 5.
No, 5 carry over 3.
Right.
Start with 5 every
Start with
year.
5.
So
Start with five.
you're really asking for 2 additional personal days.
Exactly.
Okay.
Plus
And-
the
and
1
one-
additional
And
carryover.
1 carryover.
Okay, that's what I wrote down, and I didn't think that he understood.
Yeah, I didn't.
I mean,
I'm sorry, I wasn't very clear about
I
that.
got you.
It's okay.
Any other questions?
I do have one question. When the last raise happened, did everyone get a raise? Okay, who, can I
Teachers
ask
at the
who?
top of the scale did not get a raise.
Teachers at the top, but everybody else did.
Are you talking about teachers now or class? Or
The last time of the raise with the budget,
all teachers got some raise, with the exception of teachers at the top of the scale.
okay. So I'm not just talking about the teachers, I'm talking about
She's
everyone
talking
in
about
general.
Some classified people
Okay,
got raises.
how was that determined? Is this not the time to discuss?
The board adopted a new salary scale.
And that was in the green book that you all were given.
Right,
The board adopted, it changed the salary scale for teachers.
right,
It changed the salary scale for principals.
okay.
It kept the same salary scale for school secretaries, and it reduced all other classified positions by 5%.
And I'm working on a proposal to get all of our classified staff back on this salary scale that was implemented in stages but never fully implemented back in 2011, and all people who did not get a raise last year, some form or fashion, and now hope to have that to you at the next budget meeting. Rebecca and Darlene worked on what that additional cost would be, and today it could possibly be in the realm of how much additional money?
Just under $15,000. I gave out last week a sheet that showed what
Right.
everybody's salary increase was.
Right.
For everybody, every position. So obviously, since we were so far behind with our steps, some people got much more than 5%.
Okay.
Much more than 5%. And as I calculated it, over the biennium, which is what you have to go by, over the biennium last year and this year, in order to get this new money from the state, you have to give a 5% increase for just SOQ positions over the course of the biennium. We've given an average of 5% for everybody over the course of the biennium. Some people got less, some people got none, but some people got far greater, so that the average is 5%.
Okay.
And central office was not included.
No, the central office was not included in any increases. There was a statement that all other salaries had to be brought up to a certain standard, and once that was met, which was met with the contracts for 18-19, then that could be considered by the board as a possibility for the 19-20 salaries. And as I've stated, I have very, very concerning questions and concerns about our classified staff, and like to bring those people up into a better pay scale. We still do not know our health insurance rates yet, And some of those classified folks, when the health insurance rates come about, they don't see an increase in their paychecks because the health insurance cost is, part of it is taken care of by the board and part of it is taken care of by the employee. So we have a lot of variables still unknown that we still need to work on, and hope to have some direction from you all at the next budget work session.
And the insurance could be a tremendous amount. That could be a huge amount of money in itself.
But now, as I said, you know, last year, people at the top of the scale, no one, teachers or classified, at the top of the scale, did not get a salary increase. And with the budget that I've prepared, they are not getting salary increase so far. Now, last year, the beginning teachers got a small increase because the bottom of the teacher's salary scale was adjusted slightly. It was increased. But also, you now have to stay on the teacher salary scale 5 years before you get any increase. So for this year, not only will those teachers at the top of the scale not get an increase, those teachers at the bottom of the scale won't get an increase either unless they've been here 5 years. They have to stay here 5 years before they get a salary increase with the scales as they exist now. And you know, by doing that, I guess I could just say, I mean, that's how we were able to afford such a significant increase last year, because the people at the top of the scale got nothing, and those 1 to 5 year people.
We're using the term raises, but it really goes back to the years that people were frozen and didn't get the increment they said they would get paid when they stayed here that year of experience. So some people just got moved to the salary scale that they were supposed to be earning if they stayed here that long. You can call it a raise, but really you're getting paid what you were told you would get paid if you stayed here and worked here.
And that was a tremendous effort by many folks to make that happen. And then towards the end of the budget season, we were told by City Council that we had to find another $130,000 to cut. And we were still able to put those people back on the steps that they should have been. Now, it's a matter of semantics, yes, whether it's a raise or a step, but their pay was increased. So we are trying to keep everybody on that step. And we're also trying to find dollars for the people that got nothing last year, central office and some of the people at the top and the bottom of the scale, and continue the progression for our employees who have been faithful for us for many, many years, working hard for us and continuing all of their daily efforts to educate our students or take care of our students. So that's an endeavor that we need to continue to strive as a board to provide for our employees. And that green book you were given, you all need to really look at to study those scales. And then I'll have some new proposed classified salary scales and some type of differential to get those people at the top of the scale something, if it's possible, with the monies the board have, and possibly those teachers, those brand new teachers that are at the bottom of the scale, possibly. But it's all a board decision.
And on the budget, we will hopefully schedule a meeting real soon. And what I would like to see, and I think where we are, we put together somewhat of a need list. I hope to get some more of those. Melinda's going to come in. Then probably a meeting after that, we have some better idea on funding, I hope. And we'll go through some line items and searching on some things, line item by line item, as we go as well. Yeah.
Mr. Hanna?
Is there anything else?
If I just might add the 5 steps in the beginning being the same. I know that started with the rationalization that for tenure it went to the end of being 5 years. And you know, I can see that thought somewhat, but you put yourself in the mind of the person that is starting a career and they look 5 years down the road and they're not going to get a raise. You know, they're not going to get up any steps until they've got their 5 years and get tenure. You know, those people have a bit of a load to carry and waiting for that. So we need to keep those young folks in mind, because we do need to, you know, the teacher population is aging, and we need to get young folks that are interested in going into teaching, and they need to be able to see that there's advancement.
And we're also trying to retain our new teachers. There's a teacher shortage in the country and in Virginia. There's a teacher retention problem in Virginia and in the nation, and we need to try to keep those people whose hearts are in education, and you're absolutely right. We need to think about those young people who have decided to make education their career, and perhaps some of them will stay 35 and 40 years too. So we need to think about all those individuals. So thank you for that point.
Any more questions?
Mr. Hanna.